Check, check. המציאות חולפת ואני עכשיו חושב
This is the night when I can't wake myself. I need you here. I'm calling for your help. I keep on searching for light. My heart feels frozen in this broken piece of life. Won't you please, 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 please help me? Let's do it together. No one is ever on their own. We'll break these walls between us. Let's fill the emptiness, and we'll never be alone. We are the people. We are born to love. Love's a shining light when we unite in this crazy life. We are the people. We are born to love. Love's a shining light when we unite in this crazy life. I'll be with you. I'll be with you. Heal this broken path. We'll end the misery. I'll give you all I have. I'll be your shoulder. Always around. Just hold on to my hand. And I won't let you down. Won't you please, 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 please help me? Let's do it together, and we'll see a brand new world. We are the people. We are born to love. Love's a shining light when we unite in this crazy life. We are the people. We are born to love. Love's a shining light when we unite in this crazy life. We are the people. We are the ones who can unite anything under the sun, become exactly what we want to be, turning strangers to friends to family. I can't feel outside of myself. I need the whole world, so I'm asking for help to get out of my shell, to get out of my skin. I got my fingers crossed, cause I don't know when. We are the people. We are born to love. Such a shining light when we unite in this crazy life. We are the people. We are born to love. Such a shining light when we unite in this crazy life. We are the people.
Learning to unite. Learning to unite.
Let your heart speak. Let your heart listen. Shoulder to shoulder. You won't be alone.
Love is around the deepest ocean. Together we're drawn in. I won't let go. It feels so good to be a part of you.
This is what they're
this moment when we are together, together as one.
How good to be together with you. How good to be together with you. How good to be together with you.
To be forever, yeah, to be forever with you.
How good to be together with you. How good to be together with you. How good to be together with you.
To be forever, yeah, to be forever with you. Need each other to survive. Together we can feel alive. We are born to leave the darkness for the light. Need each other to survive. Together we can be alive. We are born to leave the darkness for the light. We are branches of one tree, rooted in each other's lives. Voices of one harmony, all as one begin to rise. We are branches of one tree, rooted in each other's lives. Voices of one harmony, all as one begin to rise. Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah.
How good to be together with you. How good to be together with you. How good to be together with you.
To be forever, yeah, to be forever with you. Need each other to survive. Together we can feel alive. We are born to leave the darkness for the light. Need each other to survive. Together we can be alive. We are born to leave the darkness for the light. We are branches of one tree, rooted in each other's lives. Voices of one harmony, all as one begin to rise. We are branches of one tree, rooted in each other's lives. Voices of one harmony, all as one begin to rise. Na 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 to feel alive. We are branches of one tree, rooted in each other's lives. Voices of one harmony, all as one begin to rise. We are branches of one tree, rooted in each other's lives. Voices of one harmony, all as one begin to rise. Voices of one harmony, all as one begin to rise. All as one begin to rise.
I don't believe in myself, but I believe in you. I'm falling into myself, but I wanna draw to you. 'Cause when we can stand together above our frozen hearts, I believe the light will come and we won't stay apart.
Seems like I lost my wings, but you made me fly. And if I stop breathing, with you I'll stay alive. 'Cause when we can stand together above our frozen hearts, I'm sure the light will come and make things right. We are the
soldiers of the light. We're gonna break these walls together and let the love free our minds. We're gonna burn like fire, fire in the one desire. Love is stronger than the dark side of life. Higher, higher with the one desire. 'Cause in the end there's nothing else besides light. Light, love, love, and light, light. In the end there's nothing else besides light. Light and love, love and light, light. 'Cause in the end there's nothing else besides light. No matter what will come in our winding path, you are not alone, I'll always watch your back. So let's just stand together, I'll hold you in my arms, and suddenly the light will come and heal the heart. We are the part of the one-man army, we are the soldiers of the light. We're gonna break these walls around us and let the hope fulfill our lives. We are the part of the one-man army, we use the guns, we load the tears. We're gonna break these shells around us and let the light come back to here. We're gonna burn like fire, fire in the one desire. Love is stronger than the dark side of life. Higher, higher with the one desire. 'Cause in the end there's nothing else. We're gonna burn like fire, fire in the one desire. Love is stronger than the dark side of life. Higher, higher with the one desire. 'Cause in the end there's nothing else besides light. Don't believe in light, I believe in love, love and light, light. In the end there's nothing else besides light. Don't believe in light, and love, love and light, light. 'Cause in the end there's nothing else besides light. I don't believe in myself, but I believe in you.
What lively music. Whoa, and I'm hearing myself. It's pretty cool. That's not cool, actually. And what's that all about? We fixed it? Okay. So, good evening, everyone. The reason we're a little late, and we're probably going to be even a little later, is that we had a big problem. We invited everyone. We told everyone that we're going to have this great celebration. We used the emails and the website, and we did all that good stuff. We just made a mistake on the link to this evening. And so whoever was going to use the link that was sent out in all the emails reached the wrong number. And we only found out about it about an hour ago. So hopefully the reason you're here is because you got the message that, oh, it's the wrong link. This is the link. And I'm happy that you're here. But we will give people a couple more minutes kind of to join us and take into account that maybe they did try to click on the wrong link and they realized something's wrong and they went and they checked their email and said, oh, there's another email here. What's this all about? And hopefully that's what's going to bring them here. So how can we do something that makes sense that we do now that we don't take away from the experience of those who haven't reached us yet? Maybe we'll play a game. You guys like games? Like, no, we came here to study Kabbalah. What do you mean play a game, right, Gianni? While we're here, while we're waiting, let me introduce to you my brother, my friend, Gianni, a great instructor from the New York studio.
Hi, everyone. Good to be with you. Welcome. I also came here not to play games, but to study the wisdom of Kabbalah. And Zohar is going to tell me how wrong I am.
No, I don't know if you're wrong, but I heard that when you raise a child and you want to make him an adult and you want him to know things and you want to make him, truly be acquainted with what it is to be a human being, what it is to be a man, what it is to be a father, what it is to be what we will later refer to in Kabbalah as to being an Adam. He goes through playing games. He plays this. Oh, this is what my daddy is doing like this with his car. So he starts doing like that. And even that those little games that they do are not just games. They're actually the way we learn. And so we don't doing that.
So my son is this way. It's good if you have children, you can see actually the natural process that nature brings us through. So my son, if we go to a store, then he comes home and he wants to play store. We go to a graduation, he wants to come home and play graduation. He wants to play teacher. Whatever he experiences, he wants to play. This is naturally how we are by nature. Now, when we come, and this is why Zohar is making fun of me, when we come to want to be in the spiritual world, the very same process has to happen. And this is how a baby learns how to walk, how to learn, do everything. It basically clothes into these different forms. And by being already in those forms, it understands them. Now, when we want to come to the upper world, it's the same thing. We have to start acting as if we're already there, internally, externally, if we can. I don't know how we would act like we're in the upper world. I don't know how they act in the upper world. And we truly don't know, because there is no example in our world. Does not exist. So where are we going to get such an example in order to act like it? Because all we need to do is start acting like we're in the upper world, and we'll already see that it manifests around us. So how do we do this? This is one.
Play a game? So we're going to play a game and get to the upper world? Sounds good to me. I personally like games, even though I know that we're here for serious business. We're here to reach this thing called attainment, and we want to know all about that. In fact, we're adults, so we think we have some kind of control over things, right? We know things, and we want to have a handle on what's going on in life. I didn't introduce myself yet, so I will now. My name is Zohar. I'm also one of the instructors here at KABU. And what makes me and Gianni stand out here is that we came here a few days before you. That's it. And what our role is to maybe tell you, because we came a few days before you, what we learned meanwhile, so that we can pass it on to you. And hopefully, in the days to come, you'll be those who are going to be passing it on to others. So here we're going to go. We're going to go ahead and start this. And if people show up a little late, hopefully they'll have the opportunity to see the recording of it, and that will help them as well. Tonight, we're about to tell you a little bit about this thing called the graduate environment. Well, not even say the graduate environment. Let's just say the environment. Why the environment? What is this all about? I'm trying to understand, what is it? What's this pitch here? What are they trying to tell me about? We're going to tell you about what your next steps are in Kabbalah. Now that you've finished Kabbalah experience, what's the next step that you would want to take? And even those of us who have been here a few days more than you, Gianni, how many days ago did you get here?
It's a few. I don't remember.
Is it like 700 what?
700.
700 days? Years. Okay, so if we came here and all that, we're trying to think also, what is it that I have to do? I'm told by Kabbalists that there's this thing called an environment, that you need to choose an environment and it will somehow have an effect on your spiritual growth. And if you don't do it, tough luck. So here we're going to go into it. We're going to tell you a little bit about it. You'll have an opportunity to ask some questions today. Maybe you'll hear some of our friends here who are on the screen who are already also came a few days before you, and they'll share a little bit of their experience. But I want to start with something that seems like it has nothing to do with anything. And we're going to talk about what we call the perception of reality and control. What does it mean to have control and the perception of reality? Sound interesting? Nod your heads. Yes, it's good. Okay, that's how we're going to get into this thing. This is how we're playing it. So I'm going to show you something. We have some friends who are supporting us here in the background, Alex in New York and Jason in Chicago, and they're going to help us. They don't know I'm about to spring this on you, so hopefully they'll say, what are you doing, Zohar? We were supposed to activate the videos and everything. I'm going to do it anyway, and I want you to really, really pay attention, okay? Now we're going to work really all your creative abilities, all your intellectual, use your minds and your creation and your the word's not coming to my mouth. Creativity. Try to think really out of the box. What is about to happen here on this screen? Okay, I'm going to show you a clip, a video clip. It is not a Kabbalistic video clip. It has nothing to do with Kabbalah, or does it? We'll find out. It's actually from some talk show where they were bringing in an artist to draw one of those. Have you ever seen those people who draw paintings real fast? So this is what we're about to watch. An artist drawing a painting. I want you to really, really pay attention and pay attention to what he's drawing, what you're seeing, and what you're feeling. Got it? Here we go. Let's see if I can make this magic happen. All right, those of you who are like the brainiacs, anyone have a clue what he's about to draw here? What he's drawing? You have this little thing next to your thing. It's called a microphone. You click on the button and you unmute yourself and it makes you speak. Anyone?
A dinosaur.
A dinosaur. Okay, anyone else?
A bird.
A bird, okay?
Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker. All right, let's keep going with this. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if we can get a little closer to understanding what's going on here.
All right, so you have 1 minute left. Here we go. Here we go. Seconds,
All right, we're a lot closer now, right? You see the picture now, right? All right, let's see what you're thinking. Anyone have better ideas of what it is?
It's a portrait.
A what?
A portrait, a picture of a man.
Picture of a man. Okay, you see a man there? Good. Anyone else?
A human heart.
A human heart. Good.
A womb.
A womb. Nice.
Inside the brain.
Okay. More?
An egg.
An egg. Good. Yeah.
Whatever you want it to be.
Whatever you want it to be. Right. Okay. It's one of those paintings. Cool. Anyone else?
Columbus Circle.
The Columbus Circle. All right. Richard gives us something very precise here. It's not just any circle. It's the Columbus Circle. All right. Anyone else?
A map.
A map. Okay. Let's keep going here.
All right, it's coming down to the wire. 15 seconds, Steve. Come on. Get up, D. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Let's hear for D. Wish.
A religious figure.
That's better, right? Okay. Now everyone sees what it is, right? What do you think? Is that fun?
I knew it.
You knew it, Shab. So we knew it. You knew he was doing something there. Okay, that's great. That's very good. Now you're asking yourself, okay, I thought this had to do something about Kabbalah or the graduate environment, or what is going on here, and what are you talking about here? Okay. Let's figure this one out. So let me ask you a question, first of all. What were you feeling while he was drawing that painting?
Confusion.
Confusion. More?
Frustration.
Lost.
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Nice.
Anxious.
Puzzlement.
Puzzlement, anxiety. Yeah.
Waiting for clarity.
Okay. More?
Wonder.
Wonder. All right.
Inadequate.
Okay. So a lot of those feelings came. Why? Because you're clueless about what he's doing. You obviously know that there's some kind of painting about that to be revealed here before you. You know there's some kind of something that you're about to be, bedazzled in some way. But what the heck? What is he? I don't know what it is. I have no idea. It's like things are happening before my eyes, and yet I don't know what they are. I don't know what it is. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this thing. It's like you saw the judges. They're going like this and they're going like that. Now, if you were watching it now and I showed it to you next time and someone did this to you again, what would you right away say? Wait a minute. Let me look at it upside down. I think maybe there's a trick to it. You're thinking that in those terms, right? Let me ask you another question. What do you think the painter was feeling? Was he feeling those feelings you were?
No, I was feeling joy.
Joy. What else?
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Powerful.
Okay.
He was concentrating very deeply.
Right.
Executing a plan.
You think he had a plan?
Creation.
Good.
He knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. He was not in the same boat like we were. We're looking at him, and what we see is something. We obviously know something's going on here, but we have no idea what's going on. We have no control. We are basically looking at something and don't know how to judge whether it's this or it's that or what's going on, and we have all those feelings. And what does he feel? He has a clear plan. He knows when he was going like that and all of a sudden splatting this color, and it looked like what? Oh, he might made mistake. No, it was deliberate. He knew exactly what he was doing. Every single drop of paint. He not only that, you realize this was not just any paint. This was someone who had to accomplish this creation in a fast pace. It had to be done right away, and so it couldn't be one of those things that oh, let me do this and take my time with this. No, it had to be thought out so that I can do it fast and I know exactly and I don't waste time. And and then when he threw that red on there, you're like, oh, what now? It's like he just goes like that with his hands. You're like, no, he had a plan that when he goes like that with his hands, it would do that specific thing and it would look like that. And so that when he turned that thing over, it was exactly, it's not just a portrait, it's an exact portrait of the guy who's sitting on the stage and everything like that, right? This is interesting because what you have here is a very similar thing to what's going on with us and the upper world. We're living in this world and we're living a life. We're living a life in which you look around you and things are happening, right? You wake up in the morning, something good happens. I woke up this morning and I had a plan. I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And I have that environment, the graduate environment event at the end of the night. I'm going to prepare for that. Instead, I get a phone call from my son. Daddy, I hate the world. This is terrible. Or that. My car is stuck in the side of the road. And I was like, okay, I guess my day just changed. And the next thing that happens is I felt this way. And the next thing that happened was I had a thought of some sort. And one day you wake up and you fall in love. And the next day you woke up and you get married. And the next day you wake up and you get divorced, God forbid, or someone is born or someone dies. All these things happen to us in our life. Then the sun rises and the sun goes down. A war breaks out. A financial crisis happens. You win the lottery. You get an offer for a new job. You get fired. A bunch of things happening, kind of like what we were sitting there and looking at the painting going on, and you're looking and you're saying, I know some of these things. I kind of recognize some of them. I kind of relate to some of them as this is happening and that's happening, but I don't necessarily see the connection between them. I don't see the plan of how this is happening. Why does this have to happen? Is there any connection to anything that's going on here? And life can be frustrating. And you feel like you're out of control, that you don't have, you're not the one holding the reins here. That very clearly someone else is doing this and you don't have the manual of how it's done. It's frustrating. And yet, in the upper world, which manages our world, the place where all the forces come from, where everything is, the root of what is happening here, it is very different. What do you think the feeling is in the place where everything is understood? Everything is clear. The connections are apparent. You see how everything is related to everything. It's the same thing that's going on here, same painting that's going on, and yet over there, it's all connected. It's all very clear why, what causes what, and where it comes from, and why this affects that. Everything is there like that. If the feeling is frustration and lack of control and despair sometimes and, and confusion in this world, what do you think the feeling is in the upper world?
Peace.
Peace?
It's an upside down world.
Yes?
Clarity.
Clarity.
Harmony.
Harmony.
Longing.
Peace, love.
Serenity.
Serenity.
It's like the upper world is all knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Purpose.
Purpose. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? That's what we're after.
Divine flame.
Very good. We don't want to continue life in a way that things are happening and everything's going on. And it's not that we know things are good or bad, or we don't even know how to make ends meet. We don't understand why, how, what. And we showed up here. We came to this thing, this method called the wisdom of Kabbalah, which we're told is a method that is answering questions for those who ask the question, what is the meaning of this all? How does this all fit together? I want to go to that place where I can have that clarity, where I can have that peace, where I understand where things come together, why they are, where they come from, what causes what one thing has to do with the other, where things are truly managed from the place of knowing what's going on and not from being blind. Because there's a problem living in the way that we're living right now. I don't even know if I'm doing something right or wrong. I don't know if by changing this to this way or that to this way, I'll make things better or not. Because I don't understand the connection between things. To understand all of this and understand how that works and how I can get from this place where I am right now to that place where everything is clear and peaceful and filled with love and light and connection. We need to understand, first of all, where we come from. And secondly, what we need to do in order to go where we want to go. So to do that, we have to go back, way back in time. Before everything. And I'm wondering if, Gianni, if you want to share with us a little bit the story of where we came from.
You mean like 700 days ago?
At least.
Yeah, we have to understand where we came from. We have to understand where we are. We have to understand that we exist in a field of forces, and we're not in touch with our forces. We don't know what forces exist within us, how to control them, what forces exist outside of us, how to operate those. And apparently it's possible to do so. But in order to do so, as Zohar said, we have to understand kind of what reality we're in. And in order to understand that, we have to know where we came from. How did we get to this reality? How did it emerge, this perception of reality? And Kabbalists tell us that we come from a shattering of a common soul. We all were part of one thing called the soul of Adam HaRishon. And this is why we come to the wisdom of Kabbalah initially, because there's a point that awakens that has already fallen through 125 degrees into our hearts. And this is why we feel that there's something in the wisdom of Kabbalah, because this is why we feel that the truth is here. And others can't see it because it's not something intellectual. It's not something that can be understood. It's something that has to be felt, because this point that falls into our heart, this is a sensor. It's not that it has a brain and an understanding yet. Rather, it's a sensor that senses something in the wisdom of Kabbalah, that the wisdom of Kabbalah talks about that upper world that it fell through, which it can attain again. And it has some sense that there is where I want to go. There is where true life exists, a life above space and time. And therefore it starts longing. Now it's kind of directionless in the beginning. It doesn't know anything except I need to find the wisdom of Kabbalah. It also doesn't know those words. Rather, just like a magnet in a field, it's drawn specifically to this wisdom. Now, this wisdom tells us that in order to reach that upper world, what do I need to do? It says, actually, you're already in the upper world. You're already there. And that broken soul that you fell from, if you put it back together, if you start assembling the pieces of this soul, you will already, just like you experience the world you're in now, by way of the connections with the parts of that soul. And that's where you experience that upside down world, the upside down painting, which you guys all described when you talked about that painting, and you described as he was painting it, you described anxiety, like wonderment, like confusion, like this is how we feel a lot of our lives. And this is a result of not being in connection with the rest of our soul. So our whole soul, this is what our whole reality is. It's a depiction of our internality, our shattered state. We can start putting it back together. And when we put it back together, we discover that the whole world actually belongs to me, meaning to you. The world belongs to you. And if you start connecting those pieces of your soul in this same reality, the upper world appears right here. So it's right here. I just have to figure out, how do I start connecting to the rest of my soul? How do I activate the forces of reality, the forces of creation? It's not going to be done from above. Rather, the Creator organized the reality in such a way, just like that painter decided. He already knew at the beginning what he's going to paint. Everything is already done. So the Creator organized it such that all of the forces are before you. And now all you have to do is figure out how to activate them and start attaining that upper world through this reality. And it needs to appear here and now, not after death, not behind the Milky Way somewhere. Rather, you need to penetrate through this reality and open it up here and now. I can continue. I don't know if Zohar wants to jump in.
So when this one soul shatters and it becomes apparent that we're in this world separated, and each one of us is containing like some shard or spark or piece of that common soul, it makes sense that if you could bring back those pieces of the soul of Adam HaRishon, which each of us contains and is unique in each one of us, and put them back together in the right configuration, what you're doing is you're basically completing creation. That's the bottom line. And all work is doing that. Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so how do I do that? So it's just like, in order to create a diamond, all you need to do is put some carbon atoms together. If you put them together in a different configuration, what you'll get is graphite. If you put them together in a different configuration, some other substance. Similarly, these same parts of reality, depending how you put them together, meaning depending on what your relationship towards the other parts of reality is, that will determine completely the course of your life, what reality you will see. Now, how do you, what is connection? I don't understand. How do I connect to other people? What do we need to hug, be in love together, kiss each other? What do we do? Nope. In fact, we can be on a Zoom just like we are now. If you look at the parts of an atom actually to scale, you take these parts together, atoms form the hardest matter in the world, right? Everything's made of atoms. But if you actually look at the parts of an atom to scale, under a microscope and more microscope and more microscope, none of the parts are touching each other. To scale, they're actually light years apart. I'm just giving you this example for you to understand that the connection that we're talking about, that you need to foment between yourself and the rest of reality, it's not physically hugging. It's something internal. It's really in the intention. We'll talk about it. Now,
And even worse than that, none of us really wants to do it. If we figured out what it means to connect, we don't have this big thing in me that's saying, hey, let's do this. Let's connect with the world and make this a better place. It's not part of our programming. We were created in a way that 99.999% of us is constructed in such a way that it's, let me take care of me. And there's this little spark, that one little leftover from above, from that spark that's in me that says, no, you have to go back home. You have to go back to that place. You have to reconnect with your brethren. You have to, come to that place where the connection is, that proper connection that Gianni is talking about. That place where if you put them together, you could actually rise from this world to that place where everything is under control.
Because of the concealment. So the spiritual world, you've heard already that it's concealed. What does it mean that it's concealed? It doesn't just mean that you can't see it and that you can't already wield the forces of creation like the creator. That's already a further concealment. It's concealed such that I don't even want it. That's called a concealment. That also I don't even want this beautiful thing, this upper world. If it involves connecting with something outside of me, then that feels, who needs this? That's called the concealment. And that is on purpose so that we can do it by free choice. The creator could have created a robot. That painting we saw, it could have been the creator's plan to create a robot. And in the end, you'll just have a robot that will robotically do whatever it was in the plan. Instead, the creator made it such that you will want this beautiful reality without understanding already that it's truly more than winning $100 billion, that it's more than any pleasure. Like Bala Sulam says, that if we knew what the spiritual reality was, there isn't a person in the world that wouldn't chop their hands and legs off 7 times a day to feel it for an instant. So the free choice is such that without already seeing that which Bala Sulam speaks about, we will go through a process by which we will gradually want it, we'll truly want it, and we'll gradually feel it, but in a not egoistic way.
And this will require me to take it out of being a potential inside of me to actually be realized. Imagine that inside of me, it's there. I mean, for me to be able to utter those words that Gianni, that were so beautiful out of his mouth right now, and feel like, I want that. That's what I want. I want to feel that way. I want to be that way. I want to change to be in that kind of mode. If he wasn't in a place where this was taken out of potential into expression, into an actual place where it could be manifested, it would not exist. It would be like, you know what? I have the potential of being a concert pianist, But the country I grew up with, they never heard about pianos. And there were no piano teachers, and there was no piano music. And so that's a great dream for those who, who have the opportunity. But if you didn't have the access to the place where you can manifest that potential, it just won't happen. Our point in the heart, that thing in us, that spark in us, that thing that is longing to return to its maker, to come independently through free choice, through free will, to the upper world, to be in a place where you can actually control life, where you can actually have a handle on things and actually be a partner to the creator in holding the reins and making things happen. For it to be there, it needs to connect to the other points in a place where if you put them together, the Kabbalists describe it as if you took little sparks and if you add them one to another in the right way, the sparks become a flame. And a flame is already something you can work with. A spark, you can start something. A flame, you need to work. How is this translated? It's translated very simply. Kabbalists wrote for us a method. They said, and how did they say this? Because they themselves went through this process. They also had a spark. Their spark was very powerful, and they had a little bit of assistance from above because they woke up before us. And they were told, you put this spark under this certain influence, very similar to if you take a seed, you can take a tomato seed, and you can put it in your drawer or, in your back pocket, and it's going to sit there for 100 years. But put it in a good fertile soil. Put it in a place where there's water and nutrients and sun and the right conditions and the right temperature and someone to sing to it once in a while and, cultivate the weeds around it. You're going to have the best tomatoes come out of it. Until you do all of those things, put it in the right environment, it remains a seed with potential. Our point in the heart remains inside of us as potential until it is put into a spiritual environment. A place where you get to manifest, to realize, to implement what it's meant to be. This is why we opened this place called the Graduate Environment. We realized that in order to enter to take your point to that place, you need to have a little bit of information. And you've been learning some information, right? You went through a few semesters. You learned a little bit of the fundamentals of things that need to be learned. You understood a bit about this. It kind of, and guess what? If you're wondering why it is that it resonated with you, it didn't resonate with you. It resonated with your point in the heart. That desire inside of you, all of a sudden it was next to something that resonates on the same frequency with it. It's like, whoa, that's in me. I didn't realize that was in me. And now I'm feeling it. It's like I have a desire in me that it seems familiar, this desire. It seems like I had this before from somewhere, and I don't know how it came to me and all that, but this is pretty cool. I have a desire for something that's beyond this world, for something above. I want meaning. I want to understand where this all comes from and where it goes from. Most people don't have that. It's dormant in them. That point is in there. And until it's awakened, it's just sitting there silent. Just like that tomato seed in my pocket. But when it is exposed for the first time to the light, when it is awakened, and you have to realize that it's not us who expose it. It's been exposed from above. It's meant to be exposed. It's just like our genes. All of a sudden, when you get to a certain age, you develop puberty, or you develop, manhood, or what is it? Womanhood? Is that the word? You become an adult. You're all of a sudden not a child. You can be a parent. You can you can actually, bear fruit. Same thing with vegetables and with fruits and everything else in nature. In the heart. When it is finally ripe and ready to come out, immediately it is exposed to something that will make it have an opportunity to manifest. It comes to here, and it brings you here into this place that's called an environment, a place where, you can actually actively work on it. And yet, I don't understand anything about this. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know that there's something in me that's stirred up. It wants to do something. It wants more, and it needs to be somewhere where it can get more. We created this thing called the Graduate Environment in KabU, and we're going to tell you a few words about it. But before we do that, is there anyone have any questions about anything we spoke about so far? I know that we kind of went everywhere with this.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Benjamin.
So the broken soul of Adam Harishan, or more specifically, Adam Harishan, is it a system, or is it a desire, or it is a living internal being? Like, what exactly is it?
It's a bit of both. It's the broken desire. Now, if it was a desire already, it would be a longing, a yearning for nothing besides the Creator, because really the Creator is that all-inclusive desire for which really it includes everything. Again, this is part of the concealment, why we don't long for the spiritual world. The only thing that is needed for a person to discover spirituality is desire. That's all that is missing. Why don't we feel the spiritual world? Not enough desire for it. We have a little bit of a desire for it. We all truly do. Now, what we feel as our point in the heart, as our true longing for spirituality, I know that you all feel like it's something great, like this spirituality, like I'm all in, I've been searching my whole life for it, I want it. What are they even talking about that I don't want it enough? So all of that longing is just the first initial taste, the little hint of the greatness, of the exaltedness of what this thing really is. Now, to really reach spirituality, I need to multiply that by 613 times, so to speak. Let's just say, I need a certain amount of desire that I can only get from others who have the point in the heart. So the soul of Adam Harishan, you said, so the soul of Adam Harishan, that's the whole reality. And I was going to read actually a clip, a quote here. It says, in Bala Sulam, preface to the book of Zohar, it says, take our sense of sight, for example. We see a wide world before us, wondrously filled. But in fact, we see all that only in our own interior. In other words, there is a sort of photographic machine in our hindbrain which portrays everything that appears to us and nothing outside of us. Can you see my screen? Rabbi, can you show it? So we have in the back of our brains, since we're talking about perception of reality, we have a reality, like Bala Sulam says, wondrously filled, and it includes the still, the vegetative, the animate, the speaking. You have animals here, and you have all different kinds of people. However, out of all of these people, only certain ones have a point in the heart yet. Now, the way perception of reality works is that I can correct the whole reality. As Bala Sulam says, there's one who attains his world in 15 minutes. In other words, there's no time limit. We can reach spirituality tonight, no problem. We just need enough desire. We just need to know how to activate the forces in reality that can get us there. And it's all based on desire. But how do we do that? Well, we have to start somewhere. I can't do anything. There's nothing in the world that's great that you can do just in one go. Just however, you have to start somewhere. A scientist goes into a laboratory. He doesn't start in Times Square trying to build the next, tech device. He goes into a laboratory with people who are scientists also. Similarly, the way reality is structured, that those desires which awaken, how do I know that those are the ones that I should connect with? By the fact that they awakened. So those desires that exist in me, that happen to show me that they are awakened. I don't know who you are there on the Zoom. It doesn't matter to me who you are. You are demonstrating to me that you're awakened. This means that these are parts that I could already start building that desire with. That initial desire through which Adam Harishan can be born, through which we can be born into the upper world. I think I over-answered the question, but I wanted to nevertheless read this quote.
That was very good. Thank you.
So we're trying to unite the intention that we all want to reach spirituality, which would matter. So
Let me shorten the question. Okay, shorten the question and the answer. So see, I'm even gonna trip over my tongue here for a second. I want to understand what this Adam HaRishon thing is. What is it's obviously it's referred to as some kind of source of us and all that. I want to know what it is. I can't. Why? Because I'm not in that perception. All right. So how would you represent it in your mind? Imagine if all those desires that we have that are shattered right now and broken in us and therefore concealed in all of us, if we connected them properly between us, if we were actually connected the way we're supposed to be, the configuration that you would put all of reality in that right connection between us, instead of the way it is right now, which each one is trying to take for himself and not supported, the harmonious connection between everything and the way it would look is called the soul of Adam HaRishon. It's not only our source, it's also our destination. It's the form of what we will be when we're in the upper world. The proper form, the corrected form.
Yeah, there's lots of names. Adam HaRishon. Don't worry too much about that. The reality is yours. That's what you need to understand. The reality is all you. I like me, but I like this little body called me. And there's a whole reality to discover. And the reason it's concealed from me is because on the way to discovering it, I actually become similar to the Creator, which is even something more exalted than this perception of reality stuff. That the perception of reality is that through this lack of perception of the upper world, on the way to discovering it, we become similar to the Creator, and there's nothing better than that. Nothing could be better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. We can take a couple more questions if you want. And I'm going to give preference to those who are asking for the first time, if possible, okay? You will learn in a second that in the graduate environment, you have every week, I'll tell you a little bit about the graduate environment in a second. We will have opportunities to ask all the questions you want, because we don't just have like once a month, a celebration where we ask questions. One of the opportunities you have is a live Q&A weekly. So we'll talk about that in a second. Who has another question and wanted to ask? Like I said, preference to those. David, let's hear yours.
Does the process involve meditation? Do we need to go into ourselves, or do we need to close our eyes and meditate in order to enter into this Adam HaRishon? Or do we need to meditate so as to get the right desire, the right intention? Do we have to close our eyes? That's what I'm trying to say. Physical eyes, so that we heard that.
Yeah. I have been studying the wisdom of Kabbalah for 15 years, and I have never been asked to close my eyes or meditate. We could go on talking about that, but
do you meditate?
No.
You don't? Okay. So then, in other words, what you're saying is that we relate to other people. We relate to other people, find connection with everyone in a proper will. Is that what you're saying?
What Kabbalists are saying, not what I'm saying. Yes, what Kabbalists say is that in order to reach this state called correction, this state called the upper world, I need to change my perception of reality, which means that what I'm going to have to change, I'm going to have to realize, first of all, recognize my attitude towards others, what it really is, not what I think it is. Because I can do this, everyone knows me doing this. Raise your hand if you think you're a selfish person and you only care about yourself. Okay? All right. Those of you who have been studying Kabbalah, raise your hand. Those of you who don't study Kabbalah, you put your hand down. You're like, what do you mean? Me? I'm a loving, good person. I am on the spiritual path. Whenever I see an old lady in the crossroads, I always cross the road with her. I give charity. Once I saw a homeless person and I brought him a sandwich. I'm a good person. I care about others. You start learning and you start realizing what your nature is. And not that it's a bad thing that, oh, whoa, bad David, what were you doing? It's not that. It's we were created in a certain way, and we need to first realize who we are and what we are That's kind of like what we talked about today. Where are we coming from? You've learned that, and then you start saying, okay, how do we put ourselves together and correct the relations between us, not in actions and deeds, although also in actions and deeds, but mostly our intention towards each other. What I want from this, why I'm doing it. So you could call that meditation or prayer or whatever you want to call it. It's changing your attitude towards others. That's the main thing you're changing.
I want to say also, David, that the wisdom of Kabbalah, I don't want you to think that it doesn't include this special thing that people are trying to attain when they come to meditate. Truly, like, the direction is not, there's nothing wrong with this direction, because when you meditate, as we traditionally think of meditating, we come to peace, we control our thoughts, our desire to some extent, and we feel something that we're not sure if it's spiritual, but it seems not quite related to this world. So it seems special, something that I attain when I'm in this state. Now, Kabbalah is the same. It's just that Kabbalists say that the whole of reality was created for me to, through the reality, and not hiding in some room, but through the reality, including everything that I drew here, the still, the vegetative, the animate, the speaking, leaving nothing out, because the Creator created the perfect reality, the perfect environment for me to attain Him. And through this reality, I need to attain Him. Now, this seems daunting. We're like, I mean, that's why people meditate. They go, I need to go hide in a room away from people because people ruin my meditation, right? The moment I leave that meditation room and I go out into life, I'm already aggravated and I'm no longer spiritual and I'm no longer meditative. So I'll give you an answer. How could it possibly be that you're able to be in a state that where you're walking around New York City even, and you're at peace, you feel yourself above space and time, which I think that's what is at bottom of this inclination to meditate. And I'm going to tell you that it is through an upper force. But again, Kabbalah is a method by which we learn to wield forces that are not maybe already inside of us, that we're not able to just think about. And no, we don't yet unlock these forces of reality. So we think that it would be impossible to attain through this reality. But we learn how to use everything such that we can be in a perfect state wherever we are. We can be in the quality of the Creator. We can be at work. Someone can be yelling at us, and we still we're still doing spiritual work, so that your entire life becomes this spiritual work. And not that you need to lock yourself up, and the moment you step out into the world, it already ruins your state.
Tony, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question. The way I understand how Kabbalah works is a long time ago, a group of people went and discovered how reality unfolds in the world. And then they came up with books, and we're all studying them, and we're trying to get what those books mean and trying to incorporate them in our lives. But what happens when you start studying Kabbalah and then you get the same initial, you sort of like, you feel like, no, you are more like attracted to go and like, you feel everything to the point whereby you want to go, like you feel the energy of a tree, you feel the energy of a river, and like this is not completely, like according to the books, but you can feel like an energy force which always is like trying to invite you to learn something new from nature itself. What do you do with that?
It's a very loaded question you have there. You brought in all kinds of things, and what you experience when you look at the world and feel the world is one thing. What I look and feel the world may be a different thing. I'm assuming that David and Gianni and Carmen and Joshua here and Bob and Martin, each one of us, when we look at the world and feel the world around us, we have a certain perception of it. Some of us are very sensitive to certain things. My mother used to, when she'd come and visit me up here in Illinois, she'd say, "Oh, did you see this tree? You have to feel it." And to me, it was great. I love the shade, and I love the way it looks, and I really appreciate that it gives oxygen and and does all those good things. But I don't feel when I hug it that I'm feeling some kind of love of the universe coming through it. My mother felt that. Some people do. I don't know what that is. It's not Kabbalah. It has nothing to do with it. But imagine that you are looking at if you could see things from that place of attainment, you would understand what is connected to what causes what, and therefore you'd also see the place of the vegetation and the universe and the earth and the weather and the sun and the moon and all those things as well. But you'll find that what Kabbalists tell us is that the work that we do is between people, between points in the hearts, not between us and the environment, not between us and the creeks and the rivers and all that. Although they do give us, they inspire us, and they may do all those good things that we should be very. They're part of creation, But this is not the picture we're after. Is to be able to feel. There are many ways to feel one with the with nature, and meditation and there's many other ways. But people use music for that and all kinds of other things. What we're after correcting what's broken, because if you can correct what's broken, you're actually drawing this upper force into the connection between us, and something else is revealed. It's like we're doing something on one realm, we're doing some kind of actions that they're teaching us that we should do, and the result is unexpected. We started today our little thing with a game, right? And you came for the first time. Who are these two phony guys? They're coming here, Kabbalah, and they're playing a game. This must be some weird thing. I don't know what that's all about, right? Did you feel something? Did you feel like, oh, this is pretty, while you were going through the little exercise and all that, before long you forgot about that, or doing something like that. All of a sudden you just felt something. Maybe you had a smile on your face for a moment. Maybe you were inspired a little bit for a second. Maybe you had like a little thing. You're like, oh, wow, we're all answering similar answers here. Oh, I'm feeling, like there's a connection here of some sort. That was the third party here. That wasn't what you came in to do, but when you were doing what you were doing and we were doing it together, that third party showed up. The light came in and made us feel something. We're after that thing to come in, make us feel that thing, because that's what makes the corrections. That's where the source of it all is. That's what we're after. We call it the reforming light. If we do the connection between us, we do what the Kabbalists teach us to do in the books, in the instructions, by our teachers, in the group, in the environment that we work in, what we do is we attract this light, that thing that inspired our point in the heart, that and is reverberating it. We want a lot of that. We want that thing to unravel the potential in us so that it will develop us to where we need to go. That's the big thing here. We could go on for another 2 hours of questions and answers, and I know you want us to do that. Let's spend a few minutes talking about the graduate environment itself, and finally invite you to join us, because that's what we're here for, to welcome you to our family, to the graduate environment. And let me tell you a few words about the graduate environment. The graduate environment is basically what I just said. It's an environment. It's not a course. It's not like you took Kabbalah Revealed 1 and there's like, okay, we start lesson 1, lesson 2, week 5. Okay, you're going to the next course. The environment here contains within it all kinds of things. First of all, it contains friends. It contains the other points in the hearts that are together. And you have quite a lot of friends here. You're seeing some of them on the screen today, and there are many others. During the week, we have live lessons in the same platform like you're seeing right now, where you can see and participate in the lessons. And Gianni is one of our teachers. I'm one of the teachers. We have Tuesday nights. We just commandeered the Tuesday night lesson, but usually on Tuesday nights, we have Pticha, the preface of the wisdom of Kabbalah. What's the Pticha? Learning everything about the structure of the upper worlds. It's a year-long program where you study with one of the most amazing students of Rav, Iran and Dan, two friends that are amazing when it comes to this. And they basically lead you for a year through this article called The Preface to the Wisdom of Kabbalah, item by item, going through basically the structure, the anatomy, and the physiology of our soul. of the upper worlds, of everything that's there. And you will learn that in Kabbalah, you kind of need that. You kind of really require to get where you're coming from and where you're going to be able to, be acquainted with our surroundings, our spiritual surroundings. Thursday nights, once again, another live lesson. We have Mike Kellogg, who gives us a very special, unique lesson. We call it the graduate class. He gives us a weekly lesson. He takes something that our teacher, Dr. Michael Leitman, gives on a daily lesson every day. And he takes something that's really hot from this week's lesson. And he'll give a lesson every week that is specifically from Dr. Michael Leitman's lesson, and give it to and wrap it in a wrapping that's a little bit more digestible to us, to our level, and opens it up for us for an hour and a half. Sunday night is a busy night on the graduate environment. Sunday, we start 7 p.m. Eastern with a session that we call Sunday Meeting with Friends, where everyone from the graduate environment is invited, and there's this goofy guy who gives an hour-long Q&A. Basically, a discussion that you can ask anything about your studies, anything about Kabbalah, anything related around it in any possible way. It's an open forum like this, just like we're doing right now. We did the Q&A. Imagine that. You have an hour of that every week. And I'm your host over there on Sunday nights. Right after that is the flagship of the graduate environment, and that is called the Young Group. The Young Group is where we take everything we've learned, and we say, okay, everything's nice, and I want to learn more, and I want to be in an environment that's inspiring and all that. I want now to learn the method. I want to take my point in the heart. I want to put it in a group of other points in the heart, and together we're going to go through this laboratory. Put us in this setting. Teach us by the Kabbalist sources how to connect, how to do this. And every week we go through these articles and we do exercises and we do these things. And this program takes 6 months to a year, where we basically go through this whole process and become a group, become a 10, which you learn about, become not only those who are learning, but those who are working together in the process. And you can see that some of the friends that are here, let's see if I can, I thought I saw someone on the screen there and had before their name, a number there or something like that. Or did you all take them off because you're just such good students? You did, well, but they're divided into smaller groups where they work together and they truly do this work. You become friends for life. You start realizing what it means to have a partner in this work, and what it really means to effort, what it means to struggle, what it means to face the obstacles of what our nature is preventing us from doing, and how to do it. And you're accompanied. We start this program every 12 weeks. We usually wait for 2 semesters to come together, and we put them together. In fact, the semester that just graduated and is coming in today, we're starting the next Young Group this coming Sunday. So this coming Sunday we're starting, and I happen to know the instructor also. He's another goofy guy. 2 goofy guys that you're going to get. He's got the same name too. Anyway, so we have the Young Group starting on Sunday, and that's going to be going on as well. The forum is live. It's always there. You have instructors that are manning it 24 hours a day, questions, discussions between the students, everything that's going on there. We have every lesson that has ever happened in the graduate environment is recorded, video, audio. We put it on there, and there's an archive. You get to download it, to watch it live, to download the audio to your MP3 player and listen to it throughout anything you want. And we're here for you. On top of that, we're constantly developing more things. Right now, we have a group of those who are graduating the Young Groups and are starting the avant-garde of the graduate environment that are going to start the upper group of the graduate environment. Next program that's being developed. We're always working on doing more and more. The environment is yours, and it's for you. It's treated as a all-you-can-eat buffet. You come in, there's no pressure. You are one of those high achiever. I want everything, and I want to devour it and give it to me now, and take it. It's yours. You want to just take a bite here, a bite there, take it. It's yours. There's no pressure on anyone. We're obviously going to encourage you to do everything you can, but it's up to you how much you want and how much you invest. That's you. The graduate environment is a subscription-based program. You probably know about this already. There are like 3 levels of subscription that you can find in your email. You'll see it over there. To run this program, to have the technology, to be able to do all that we're doing, it costs money. And we do it. We do it not to profit, to be able to afford to do this program. No one here is. We're all volunteers. So this is like how we work in this. We want this to happen. It's by us for us. That's how it works. There's a basic subscription of $25, or higher subscriptions, $57 and $126. For those of you who want to contribute more and support the program, and you can, if you can. That's basically it. We're always available. You have instructors here. You have a team of supporters that are, working here to serve others. There, like I said, there are people who got here a few days before you, went through this program, were so inspired, were so happy that people helped them and supported them and led them through this, that they want to give back also. The group that I told you, the avant-garde group that are going to now be moving to the next level, a big part of their work is going to be serving the incoming students as well. That's part of how we work in this. It's a family. So that's basically it. I do want, before we say anything else, I want to ask Jason to share with you a clip of some of our students, and then if we have some graduated environment students here who want to maybe share a few of your excitements, please do that as well. But let's hear it. Jason, could you put that clip on?
My name is Pamela, and I'm from San Diego.
My name is Lucian. I'm from North Carolina.
I'm Linda. I'm from Minnesota.
My name is Christine Bertelli, and I'm from Staten Island, New York.
My name's Brandon. I'm from Texas.
The graduate environment, well, it's given me hope. Hope for not only for myself, but just for the country in general.
To connect virtually, well, it's an unusual experience, but even though you don't have the physical environment, the people, you're forced to listen a lot more attentively.
Takes you from a surface level of understanding to a very deep new world.
The instructors were themselves. I just made that connection because that's what I'm looking for in a, if you will, a spiritual environment. People who are genuine and sincere.
You're connected right away.
It challenges you to think and to go beyond just what you really think about and what you learn on your regular day-to-day.
You feel that there isn't anybody who wouldn't do whatever you needed if you needed help, that they would be there for you.
It allowed me to be more disciplined into getting into a routine that eventually became a part of my life.
Not just a tangible result, but a lasting result. Not a quick spark, but something that I could continue to carry with me.
Check it out. Find out for yourself. It's an experience. It's nothing that I can really explain.
This is better than anything I could ever imagine. I'm with the greatest people in the world.
I'm very excited.
It's really more about the experience. It just opens up life in a way that's magical.
That's cool. That's the first time I saw that. I like it. Anyone in the graduate environment want to say something?
I'd like to say
Oh, I'm
that-
sorry, Aviva.
They slip a few bucks too before and say, hey, say a good word.
No, I just wanted to say that people don't know, Zohar doesn't usually read the chat. The chat. So if you want to ask a question, just butt in. Don't write in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Aviva. Now everyone knows that my eyesight is not good. Come on.
I want to say something, please. Okay.
Yes,
That when I'm in that moment, when I'm in the group and we're all connecting and it's like we are sparking off each other, there's a moment where thoughts come in and pictures come in and words and feelings come in all at once, and it's wonderful. It's like joy. That's what I feel in the group. That's all. Thank you.
I wanted to add to these beautiful words that one of the many things that Kabbalah taught me is not to think linearly. You know, I'm a very type A personality and, you know, lifelong learner. So there was a lot of frustration for a little while about linear learning. And I truly learned to think in depth, because Kabbalah is about what's inside you, and you just learn to dig deeper. And it's just such a precious thing. I'm very grateful to this environment for teaching me that. Thanks.
Thank you, Svetlana.
I would love to share how everything that you guys provide for us, the environment, the tent, everything, it's such a gift. It's the best gift that we can make to ourselves and family. It just extends beyond us. It's like I said, it's a gift. Family, friends, and ultimately the world. So I don't think words can really express. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I would add that all the instructors are absolutely wonderful and great, and the environment is outstanding, just as Nina said.
Yeah,
I would say it's not about emotions for me. It's just good work.
All right. So
Can I add one thing, Thor?
Oh, I'm dying for you to say something, Benjamin.
Okay, thanks, Frank. But I would say it's the only place that you could probably come with your point in the heart and find like a natural home for it. And it's the only place that you could ever get the light to cover any kind of darkness. It's the only place that you're ever going to get answers and actually do something productive and not just rot somewhere. So I think it's the only place you're ever going to get light that's actually ever going to do something for you.
Beautiful. Okay, friends. You heard it. We gave you a little bit of a feeling of what the graduate environment is. Maybe gave you a little bit of a good evening as well. That's it. We welcome you to join us. Like we said, if you want, I put a link in the chat there. Just click on it. You should be in your email as well. Click and sign up, and and you can start immediately in this program. We'll start the young group on Sunday, and it's going to be amazing. There's already a group of students that have already been waiting for you guys to come in so that they can join as well, and it's going to be phenomenal. You'll feel some of these feelings that the other students are feeling, and before long you'll realize that they're not like the others that you walk into this awkward place like I don't know anyone here. You realize that they're your family, they're your best friends, they're the people that have been awakened with you to work on this work together. You should know that if you're like, I don't know, on the fence, you're not sure of that, you can do it. You can, the subscription, for new subscription, you come in 30 days, it's completely free. You just try it, fill it out. If you want to cancel within those 30 days and you don't feel like this is it, go for it. But I would give it a chance. Like Benjamin said, if you have a point in the heart and you really want it to be in a place where it can be nourished and exposed to all that light and taught how to draw more of it, you bet it's possible. And last but not least, you should know that if you're one of those people and you're saying, oh, this sounds great and this is amazing, but I happen to be one of those unfortunate people who, I don't know, the Creator blessed me with a situation where I am just, I can barely afford to eat or something like that, or I just lost my job and all, I don't want to give the possible possibilities here. There's also a possibility for you to click there on the financial aid form and one of the beautiful things is that those who are paying a little bit more are enabling us to have some kind of scholarship form as well for those who are in an unfortunate situation, whether it's temporary or even long term. Okay. Last words, Gianni. Why would you join a spiritual environment for your point in the heart?
I would join. Okay, so my favorite thing about the grad environment, really quickly, is the study of Pticha on the one hand. So this is the writings of the Ari, essentially, that Bala Sulam boiled. So this is like the 10 Sfirot, 125 degrees, how the upper world functions, the structure of the world. But he boiled down these writings of the Ari into like E equals MC squared, so that you can really understand it from the bottom up. The other thing that I love about the grad environment is what we do on Sundays, where you will really know what you need to do to attain spirituality. You will know, it will be clear to you, but you're in the driver's seat, as Zohar said. You can be like me when I first started, where I just listened to Kabbalah lessons at the gym, and it gradually worked on me. Or you can be like Bala Sulam says, one who attains their world in 15 minutes. Really, there is no time in spirituality. As fast as you want to advance, once you know what you need to do, you can go as fast or as slow as you want. So I think those are the reasons that I would join. It's really the only place that you can come into contact with those people who are truly longing to attain the Creator in this lifetime. I mean, anything you want to attain, whether you want to lose weight or be a great business person, a great basketball player, you always surround yourself with those who are going in that direction, or at least people who are successful in this life know to do that. Here you have people who have come to this place who join a few times a week in order to work on this desire. Like I said, the only thing you need to attain spirituality is a little bit more desire. Let's say 10 times more desire, but you already have more than 10 people on any given lesson. So you can multiply this desire, and as fast as you want to go, you can attain that reality. So I hope to see you all there.
And I do too. Well, you're there already, but that's it. We're talking about like future state, right? We're here. Come on in. We'll see you Thursday at the graduate class, and then we'll see you on Sunday in Sunday meeting with friends, and then in the undergraduate class. Thank you. Thank you for this time. I don't know if our friends here are capable or not to put a song on for us, but I think there's a problem with the technology somewhere, and I don't know if we do it, we're going to make it one big mess. Alex, do you think you want to do it for us? Because I know Jason's worried that if he does it, we're going to have a problem. All right, friends. Hope to see you inside. Thank you for this, for welcoming us into your homes.
Thank you, friends.
My name is Heather, and I'm a teacher at the Rosen School of Heat.